One world, one family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is the only way to make the world better here and now, says Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai, a humanitarian, a visionary, a social and spiritual leader who has established several institutions of public service in the last 10 years since 2012. These institutions offer services to the most needy in the fields of nutrition, education, healthcare and socio-care in about 33 countries, absolutely free of all costs.
Identifying the gaps in societal needs and addressing them in a holistic and sustainable manner to create a lasting impact is the approach to service adopted by all the institutions of Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai.
Nutrition. The Annapurna Morning Nutrition Program serves healthy morning nutrition to more than 1.2 million school-going children in India and about 5,000 children in 5 other countries overseas.
Eradicating hidden hunger is one of the main goals of Annapurna, and hence a customized micronutrient-rich supplement, Sai Ishwar, is served to children every morning to ensure better attendance and a healthy childhood devoid of wasting or stunting. The vision is to cover 2 million school-going children by 2024-25.
Over the last decade, Annapurna has also served the cause of maternal nutrition and eliminating pregnancy and birth-related issues by providing expecting and lactating mothers with Sai Ishwar, specially customized for their needs.
Education. The need of the hour is an education model that will induce human values into the veins of education to ensure a holistic development of individuals who will cultivate the commitment to serve the society and help to address the manifold issues and needs of our societies.
A practical testimony to implementing the ancient way of education that is based on the molding of wholesome individuals with brilliant heads, compassionate hearts and competent hands, the 3H formula, is the Sri Sathya Sai Lokaseva Gurukulam group of institutions. These institutions impart integral values-based education to over 5,000 students, both boys and girls, from grade 6 to doctorate programs over 27 campuses in India and at 3 institutions outside India in Australia, Laos and Nigeria, completely free of all costs.
The institutions are residential edifices set up in naturalistic settings as symbols of majesty and modesty, reminding one about the genuine goals of education, the acquisition of all forms of knowledge being a paragon of virtues and working for the welfare of society.
The higher education wing is the Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence, an institution which empowers young students with the necessary knowledge, skills and character with only one purpose: serving the society. Thus, every student who passes out of the university joins the alma mater, which itself is a service institution, or posted at any of its other sister organizations based on the need, thus creating a self-sustainable system.
The university is also the only general university that offers courses in fine arts and Vedic and spiritual studies. To promote learning and research in Vedic studies and to disseminate its priceless wisdom to all, the Sri Sathya Sai Lokaseva Veda Gurukulam was set up in the year 2021.
Bharat Rashtra Nirman Vidyarthi Nidhi, an innovative scholarship scheme to improve enrollment and quality of primary school education, was instituted in November 2021 in collaboration with Rashtriya Seva Bharati. In the pilot phase, around 6,000 boys and girls from grade 1 to 6 in the state of Karnataka are receiving this scholarship.
A milestone that will change the future of medical education in India was accomplished by the Sri Sathya Sai University for Human Excellence by the setting up of India's first totally free medical college, Sri Madhusudan Sai Institute of Medical Sciences and Research. The college was inaugurated by the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi, on 25th March 2023 at Sathya Sai Grama in the village of Muddenahalli in Karnataka.
Governed by the principle of for the rural, of the rural and by the rural, this medical college will impart totally free medical education to those students who do not have the affordability but have the aptitude for medical sciences and a service bent of mind to use their knowledge and skills for serving others. Apart from education, boarding and lodging will also be given completely free of cost to all students.
The vision of the medical college is to produce capable and compassionate healthcare professionals who will serve the rural geographies of the country where the need is most.
In its initial phase, the institute comprises of one academic-cum-administrative block, Sri Sathya Sai Rajeshwari Memorial Block, and one teaching hospital, Sri Sathya Sai Sarla Memorial Hospital. The medical college will commence from the academic year starting June 2023. Apart from MBBS, courses in nursing and paramedics will also be offered.
The institute will commence another teaching hospital, a 400-bedded multi-speciality hospital, by the year 2025.
Healthcare. Sri Sathya Sai Sanjivani Centers for Child Heart Care are the world's largest chain of pediatric cardiac hospitals without billing counters for addressing the global burden of congenital heart diseases. 5 child heart care centers in India at the states of Chhattisgarh, Haryana, Maharashtra, Karnataka and Telangana. 5 mother and child hospitals in India at the states of Chhattisgarh, Haryana, Maharashtra, Jharkhand and Uttarakhand. 5 healthcare centers in the countries of Fiji, Suva, Sri Lanka, Batikalo, USA, Clarksdale, and 2 facilities in Nigeria, Ebbe and Imo, offer completely free of cost services to all, with specialized services for children and their mothers in the spirit of a compassionate healthcare model.
The 5-pronged approach for holistic healthcare adopted by Sanjivani is cure through the heart care centers, prevention through the Divine Mother and Child Health Program, a health screening program, nutrition through Sai Sure multi-nutrient supplement, advanced human genomic research for congenital heart diseases, healthcare education and training that provides skill development programs for doctors, paramedics and allied healthcare professionals.
So far, Sanjivani has trained around 700 students of physiotherapy, 300 students of 26 perfusion technologists, 20 cardiac technologists and 20 physician assistants. All this has been done totally free of cost to empower the new generation with medical knowledge and practical experience.
At the Sanjivani hospitals in India, close to 25,000 little hearts have been treated through invasive and non-invasive procedures. Outpatient consultations and screenings have also been performed for over 412,000 children.
Sri Sathya Sai Sarla Memorial Hospital is a multidisciplinary facility at Karnataka with a high-dependency inpatient unit providing services to the rural and underprivileged sections of the society. Over 1,000 outpatients and 300 inpatients are taken care every single day, all completely free of cost at this hospital. The Sarla Hospital will serve as the teaching and training hospital for the Free Medical College.
Yet another free healthcare initiative is the Sai Swasthya Wellness Centers, which are being set up in the rural hinterlands of India. By collaborating with the Jan Aushadhi model of the Government of India, these primary healthcare centers dispense medicines free of cost, while the diagnostics are being done by healthcare professionals specially trained for this purpose.
Currently, 4 Sai Swasthya centers have been established across the states of Andhra Pradesh, Telangana and Karnataka.
In the next 10 years, more than 6,000 centers will be set up across the country at every taluk, and 5,000 young school pass-outs or students pursuing their higher education will be trained to assist patients, thus creating rural employment as well.
12 centers for human development have been set up across 11 countries for conducting several service and spiritual activities.
To take this triple elixir of nutrition, education and healthcare to the doorsteps of children is a saga of love and service, as several lives are being illumined through these benevolent acts every single day.
Welcome to Happy Homes and Gardens. I'm your host. My name is Daphne Royse. I am a real estate broker, architecture, and interior designer. Sadguru Sri Madhusudan Sai leads the mission of spirituality and services at Sathya Sai Grama has initiated humanitarian work in 33 countries to provide children with a free nutrition, education, health care, and social care. Let's welcome Sadguru.
Thank you. Thank you, Daphne.
Tell us about you and how do you start humanitarian work?
Right. I come from India, as you might already know, and I grew up in a very small central state of India, which wasn't very rich. My parents worked for the government and they worked quite hard to make the two ends meet. That's when we grew up and met Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. He's there in the background of your frame. So Baba is a humanitarian, he's a spiritual leader, but all his life he served the poorest of the poor by giving them free healthcare, free education, and water, one of the largest privately funded water project which serves more than 1 million people every day. So this is how he taught us when I was a student at his university, and I learned about the values of serving humanity as the main purpose of human life from him. So after my education, I worked for a while in the corporate world as per his instructions, but then when he left his body, that was in the April of 2011, I had his guidance, and he guided me at that point in time to start these humanitarian works, and he told me that is the purpose of my life. And with his constant spiritual presence around me and his constant guidance from within, we embarked on all these projects, and now we are in more than 33 countries. We run 10 free super specialty hospitals, and we specialize in pediatric cardiac care. We also run several educational campuses in several countries, including the likes of Australia, Nigeria, Laos, of course in India. We have a university which also provides completely free education to all the kids up till their graduation and post-graduation, even doctoral studies. We also run a nutrition program, perhaps the largest in the world, which is privately funded again, and this serves more than now approximately 2 million children a breakfast every day across 5 countries. The largest is in India. All this happened in the last 11 to 12 years, since 2011-12. Now recently, you'll be glad to know that we opened a medical school in India, and it is a completely free medical school where anybody who qualifies and aspires to be a doctor can join us with just a pair of clothes on their body, and they can get a medical degree. So this is all what we do at this point in time, apart from guiding people on their spiritual journeys and also inspiring communities to participate in social work. This is our work that we do, and I'm very happy to be here with you today to talk about it. So this is how it began, and this is how it's going right now.
Your work inspired me, and I'm really impressed all the things you did for the humanitarian.
Thank you.
I have many questions for you. For your child breakfast program, you have a Sai Shore.
Yes.
Tell us more about that. Did you create Sai Shore?
Yes, we did. Sai Shore is a very innovative nutrition product. It's a nutraceutical product. What it does is basically it has a base like malt or anything else that is needed to start the nutrition, and it is fortified with several other micronutrients. Now in India, several school-going children, especially those who go to government schools, they do not have breakfast in the morning. Many of them go to school on a hungry stomach because their parents are laborers who leave very early for their work. So these children are left to fend for themselves. The government in India has a program which provides the midday meals for these school-going children. However, it's too late in the day for them to eat. They have been fasting since the previous night, and it's more than 12 or 14 hours that they have not eaten anything. So naturally their energy levels are low. Sometimes they don't come to school, and even if they come to school, the attention is very low. So that's when we started a breakfast program under Sri Sathya Sai Annapurna flagship, and we started serving school children this morning nutrition as breakfast. But then we found that it's not possible to cook everywhere, in every single school, and serve them so early in the morning. So we came up with a more innovative solution, which is this nutraceutical product. It's called Sai Shore. It's a multi-nutrition powder, and you can simply mix it in hot water or in milk, as the case may be, and it provides you with 85% of all your micronutrient needs for the day. The remaining 15% you will get it from various other food that you eat. In India, stunting or wasting and many developmental delays and disabilities are a huge issue when it comes to children because of malnutrition. And that happens because they don't get a balanced diet. Also, they don't get sufficient fortification in the diet of all these micronutrients. So this is called hidden hunger. And to solve this issue, the Sai Show program started. And as I stand today, I think we just signed up with another state government in India, which will straight away take it to another 2 million children every day. So we will be more than probably 3 million children within a few months from now who will be getting this micronutrient mix every morning. And this idea is very simple, but it's very effective. It helps us to help the children grow better. It means you'll have less diseases or sickness, and their immunity is much better. So they grow into healthy individuals who can study well, play well, and grow well. So that's less burden on the healthcare and the education system. So we are making those systems work more better because of this one intervention. And this also is being served in some other countries as well. We have sent it out to Sri Lanka, we have sent it out to Nigeria, we are sending out to many other countries as well. Sai Show also has undergone certain modifications. Apart from giving it to school-going children, we have special formula for pregnant women because they need all the nutrition, and in India almost 60% of women are anemic. So this helps them to gain that nutrition that they need to deliver healthy babies. We have similar products Sai Show for infants so that their food gets fortified. We have for school-going children, as I said, and we have for girl children because when they come of age, they need a lot of replenishment because they lose a lot of energy and their nutrition every month because of their menstrual cycles. So we have come up with a different product for them. So it's all done very scientifically, approved by the food authorities in India, and as I said, approved by the scientific community. And it's a beautiful life cycle approach. You see, a girl is just born, gets the infant formula, goes to the school, gets the school formula, then adolescent formula when she is in her teens, and when she is going to be a mother, she is going to get that which is for pregnant women, and she delivers a healthy girl again, and then the cycle starts once more. So it's a very beautiful life cycle approach when it comes to women.
That's amazing work you do.
Yes.
And just elaborating what you do for the breakfast program, will you have a plan to end world hunger one day?
I really believe truly that nobody should go hungry in this world. And it's so unfortunate that while on one side we have never been as rich as we are today as a world economy, $100 trillion plus world economy. At the same time, 600 to 800 million people go to bed hungry every single night. And that is because of the disparities, the inequalities in our societies. And I don't see a reason why these many people should be hungry when the world is so rich today. It simply means that it's not the equitable distribution of resources. And our effort is to make sure that everybody gets the nutrition which is their basic right. And to do that, we work with many like-minded organizations too. And we support them, they support us in various countries. And we started a program just before COVID. It was very timely. We called it Feed the World. And that program has inspired people from across the world to at least serve one meal to somebody who might be hungry. It need not be a group effort. It could be an individual effort. You buy your meal, you buy an extra meal for somebody on the road who might be hungry. And this program has served millions of meals, especially during the COVID times. In India alone, we have served food or ration packets to people during the COVID time, hungry people. This program is in Europe, this is in the US, very much in San Jose. This is there in a lot of countries in Asia, in Australia, in Fiji Islands, in Nigeria, you can imagine. So a lot of people got inspired, organizations got inspired and helped people have at least one meal a day. So I hope that people will take a leaf out of what we do and they will get inspired. And I always say, if you have eaten today, think of another person who has not eaten yet. and do something about it. It does not take much to feed one person. If every single person who is fed takes care of one more person who is hungry, nobody will go hungry in this world. And we don't need huge governments and policies and large foundations to do this. We just need individual participation. So that is our approach, and I definitely look forward to creating a world where nobody goes hungry, irrespective of whether he or she is capable of feeding herself or not. Somebody else should look after it. And I truly believe we as a society must not survive on the principles of jungle where the survival of the fittest is what happens. Ours should be survival of the weakest, survival of the poorest. That is how we want to build these societies, and feeding or nutrition or hunger eradication is the very first step towards such a world.
Wonderful. And I know there was exciting news last month that you have invited Prime Minister of India to build the first pro bono medical school. I'd like to learn more about that.
Yes, that's the news, I think, that's got most of the attention. The Prime Minister of India has been a long associate of the organization that we are running, and many of our senior organization leaders have been working with him or knowing him for a long time. So when this free medical school project came up, it so happened that we felt that since it is the first of its kind, and perhaps in India nobody has done this before, I do not know about the whole world, but this kind of initiative has never happened before. And in India it was a great need. The government is working very hard to create more medical seats or educational opportunities by creating more medical colleges, yet the demand-supply gap is very big. Almost close to 2 million children aspire to become doctors. They write the exams which qualify them to join medical schools, and almost half of them, 800 to 900,000 children, qualify. But there are only 90,000 to 100,000 seats in the whole of the country. And that also 50% or more are with private colleges, which is very expensive. Even government college seats are not completely affordable for many poor people. So that's why we found the gap. And after the crisis, what we noticed during this war between Ukraine and Russia, a lot of Indian students who had gone to Ukraine to study, they had to study medicine because it was cheaper out there. They were stranded and they had to be airlifted, and a lot of efforts had to be done to bring them back. But they're all stranded. They have not finished their medical education. They do not know what's their future. Then we found out that this is a huge gap. At the same time, we do not have enough doctors, nurses and paramedics to serve the rural communities in India. Because when you pay for your education, you want to earn that money back. You have a student debt to pay off. So they cannot just do service in rural areas. Their money is little less compared to an urban setup. But that's where the need is. All of 70% of India lives in its villages. So government did a lot of work. They're trying to open medical colleges. So we thought we will join the initiative. So when we mentioned this to the Prime Minister, who was kind enough to give us an appointment, and he heard it all, and then he was very appreciative of this effort. And within no time, as I mentioned earlier also in one of my talks, within 3 weeks he agreed to come and inaugurate this. From the date we met him at his office in New Delhi, and he came, as he kept his promise. He came, inaugurated the college, and he also assured us of all the support that we may need from the side of the government and the authorities. So I think it's a great model where the government, private organizations like us, and the society in general, the corporates and many philanthropists, have come together to build India's first free medical school. I'm not sure about the world, but as I said, it is completely free. Boarding, lodging, food, books, tuition, everything and anything that you need to become a doctor is all available to you. So I'm very grateful to the Prime Minister for having made time, despite his busy schedule, to come and inaugurate this college.
What an accomplishment for that.
It is.
Yeah. And I understand you have the first and probably the largest pediatric.
Yes, pediatric cardiac hospitals.
Yes. Tell us more about that.
Right. In India, as again, it is a need-based service. Our institution's motto has always been to identify the gaps or the need in the society and then serve it efficiently. Now, in India, pediatric cardiac care is something that is not available to everyone, for the simple reason that there are more than 250,000 children born every year with a congenital heart disease, which means they have some defect in their heart at the time of birth. It could be a hole, it could be a wrongly placed arteries, or it could be a defect in the valve, some such issue. These are all at birth diseases. And we do not have enough experts in the country, nor there are enough hospitals to provide this service. Even those hospitals that provide privately are very expensive. But this is poor man's disease, poor people's disease. So we thought, how can we solve this problem? And as it was that we started for the first hospital in the central Indian region, which is quite a poor region, and slowly it evolved into a pediatric cardiac hospital because we felt the need was more. That was the requirement from the government, and other people also, they requested us. So with that it started, and now we are the largest pediatric cardiac hospital chain in India, which provides absolutely free service to everyone. And so far, close to around 25,000 surgeries have been done in the last 10 years across 5 of our centers in India. And these all have been done absolutely free of cost. And more than probably 400,000 consultations have been done for pediatric related issues, these cardiac related issues. And we also are looking forward to train more people into pediatric cardiac services through our new medical college, so that they can serve more people. But the backlog is huge. Despite doing whatever we do almost 30 procedures, surgeries every day across our 5 hospitals, and even more sometimes. But yet the demand is so much, and we do not have enough specialists, and we do not have enough infrastructure, plus the cost of it is very high. So put together, this was a very big gap in the medical system, and we identified that, and now we are working towards it. We have also opened pediatric cardiac hospital in Fiji Islands. Again, in the whole of South Pacific region, there is no pediatric heart hospital. Most of the Fijian children and the children of almost 16 island nations had to be airlifted or transported to Australia, New Zealand or US for getting a pediatric heart work done, and which would cost them thousands of dollars. And most of them are very poor, they can't afford. So we built a hospital, and we are celebrating the first anniversary in this coming week on April 24th. So that does free surgeries again. We have opened another hospital in Sri Lanka, a neighboring country. Again, on the eastern side of Sri Lanka, there are no pediatric heart facilities. So we are working with the local universities and colleges. And we have just built the hospital, and we started the work recently. In the same vein, we are also building a hospital in Turkey, which is going to come up hopefully by the end of this year. Again, it will serve the whole Middle Eastern region as well as a little bit of Europe, where the poorer countries. And we also have hospitals in Nigeria, which are going to be upgraded into pediatric hospitals soon. And the best part is we are trying to build one in the US, in the Mississippi region, the Delta region, because that's where we felt the communities, the marginalized ones, are underinsured or uninsured, and they need this help. So we are in the process of talking to the local county over there, and we have talked to a lot of people in the US, doctors, medical professionals, as well as philanthropists, to come together to build perhaps the first pediatric cardiac hospital in the US, which is going to give all the services absolutely free of cost. So I'm looking forward to that center. Hopefully it will be ready in a year's time.
That would be great. So because of the insurance purpose, that's why you pick it Mississippi?
Yes, because a lot of people were uninsured or underinsured. So we are largely working for them.
Okay, so basically they can afford hospital.
Yeah, so we have thought of a few specialities like mother and child services, cardiology, which is adult as well as pediatric. That's our forte, that's our expertise. And this apart, whatever is the need in that area, we will identify that and try to provide those services as well.
Okay, and I know you have a goal in Medicare, which is what you just mentioned it, and also education.
Yes.
Yeah, so tell us about education. I know in education you have a 5C in goal, and which they are critical thinking, communications, collaboration, creativities, and also the character.
Correct. I think the 4 C's are very common. We all talk about it. They all talk about these 4 C's, but I said the 5th C of character is more important than all the other 4 C's. You can be a critical thinker, you can be a collaborator, you can be a creative thinker, whatever you can call it. But unless you have character, and character to me is simply doing the right thing always, whatever be the situation. So that is as simple as that. Unless we are capable of making the right decisions and doing the right things in all situations, we cannot build better societies. And developing this ability is developing the character in the child. And this has to be done early on, in the formative years when the child has an impressionistic mind, and before his teenage, or during this teenage when he is developing his own personality. That's when these inputs must go in. So our education system is based on moral values. It's a values-based education system. While they gain the academic expertise, which we must provide as education institutions, largely our focus is in building this kind of character, this ability to do the right thing always. And that's how we can build more people with character in the society, and good things will happen. So we train them all the way from their schooling to the university, and we have a beautiful model. We also found that there were teachers who were in short numbers in India, especially in the rural schools. I think a similar situation exists even in the US and many other countries, where the rural schools don't get the best of the teachers. Yeah. And that's where most of the children live. So we built this university with the sole purpose of training students into educationists who would take upon themselves this mission of providing values-based education to the rural children. So I'm very glad to share that our university is just 4 years old, but it has already produced more than 100 teachers who have joined us back in our mission to provide education to more children. So it's high quality, and more importantly, it's values-based education, which builds the moral fabric and a very strong character in our people, in our students. So that's our education mission in short.
I know some social workers in US often go to people's house and just knock on the door and make sure all the kids go to school.
Right.
And that's probably the problem with the poor or rural areas, and they have more demand on the jobs for children. So will you have the same goal that every kids go to school?
Yes, we try to ensure that every kid is put into school, and for that sake, especially after this COVID time, many children have not come back to the schools. Millions are out of school. That's what the UNICEF says, not me. And in India also this has been a problem. That many children have not gone back to school because their income levels have dropped at home. They started assisting their parents in their daily chores or whatever little household work, as well as going out and looking for small jobs to help the parents. And that is the reason why most of the children have not come back to the school. Many teachers have quit education as a job because when the schools were shut down, they were not paid during COVID. So they did not come back to the schools again. So it's not just with the kids, it's also with the teachers who haven't come back. So the issue is a bit much larger than what it meets the eyes. The children coming back to school is one part of the issue. The second part is also to ensure that the school has the necessary infrastructure, especially the teaching faculty. So both of this has to happen. So we are trying to address that. We have also launched a scholarship scheme in India, which gives you a monthly scholarship if you go to school. So you get a direct transfer of funds to your joint account with your father or mother. And it's all very well organized and monitored with the help of thousands of volunteers. So we have a platform of software where they register. Volunteers go and do the due diligence in finding whether the child is coming to the school, whether he's attending the school regularly, and unless there is certain percentage of attendance, they don't get the next month's scholarship transfer. So this has helped us to bring back almost 6,000 children. We are trying to disburse the scholarship by the end of this academic year. So they will come back to school, and that's from first grade, that is when they're just 6 years old, to all the way up to 12th grade when they're 18. And they will be able to get this scholarship for all these years. And it keeps increasing in its amount because their needs go up. But this is a big help, and we have received very positive feedback about this scholarship. Many children have written to me personally as well, saying thank you for the scholarship, because without this, I don't think my mom would have sent me to school again, especially the girl children who are thought of as a burden in India. They're thought of as a liability. And when people don't have to spend on them, they're okay to send them to schools and colleges. Very interestingly, in our university, we give a special stipend to girls to study. So not only they get free education, boarding, lodging, everything, we also give them a monthly stipend which they can send it to their home. So the parents feel, okay, my child is not just studying, but I'm getting something out of this education. So they don't get them married off too soon. Allow them to finish their education. So that's another innovation we brought in, made sure that people are in schools and colleges.
What a great program that you have in
It
India.
is.
That's great to help women, to help
Yes.
girls to grow and they can find their directions. And I heard all your program, healthcare, education, or medical school, sounds like you're creating more jobs just
Yes,
for
it
people,
is.
not just serving the children. You're actually helping the entire communities. Yes.
You're right, you identified it right. When we started, we were hardly 20 people, and we are now more than 2,000 people working in these institutions, plus probably 5,000 volunteers across various schools who come on their own and help. So it's also created an economy, yes, you're right.
That's really great that what you do for the society, the world, basically, across 33 countries.
Yes.
That's just phenomenal work.
It's because of the good people, the team that we have. They're very committed and selfless people who give so much of themselves to this cause. That is why all this is happening. It's no one-man show it is.
So who can volunteer at your program and how people receive the services from your program?
Right. So we have a website right here in the US for those people who want to volunteer here. We have an Indian website as well. Details can be posted soon in your video. And these websites are there. You can go and you can choose what kind of volunteering you want to do. And you can choose to be education volunteer, you can be a nutrition volunteer, or you can simply create videos and online lessons if you are an expert there. So you have many opportunities, or you want to come to the hospital and serve. So volunteering opportunities are available. You can pick and choose. You can slot your time when you want to go, and you will be updated about the next volunteering opportunity. So these are all there in place. The website in the US is one which is the one where people from around the world register, and then they get their opportunity in their own countries. And we work with this with like-minded organizations as well. So you can even volunteer with one of our sister or a partner organization. So plenty of opportunities. Yes.
So what is your goal? How many more countries are you going to go?
The whole world, and maybe the moon and the Mars too, if there were people there. But
You have
yes,
a big heart.
yes, I think that's what it takes.
Well, thank you so much, Sadguru, for your time
Thank you,
today.
for your time and talking to us.
Thank you.
I hope more people learn about these works and more people volunteer, and I hope we can create a better world than the world that we received from our fathers, and a world where nobody is hungry, nobody is denied education or health, or for that matter shelter or security, especially for the want of money.
You have a big mission and your philosophy. One last question for you. One world, one family. Tell us about your philosophy.
This is a very old Indian philosophy, and it comes from the Upanishads, which are part of the Vedas, the very ancient texts, perhaps the oldest texts known to the human societies. And there, this one particular verse comes which says, people who think that these are our people and those are others are narrow-minded ones. For a broad-minded person, the whole world is one family. So this shloka or this verse is our motto. And from there we have borrowed this verse, Sudhaiva Kutumbakam, which means the whole world is one family. And that's how this motto, one world, one family. And I truly believe that we are all same when it comes to our joys and sorrows. We may express it in many languages, in many ways. But when we feel hungry, we all feel the same hunger. It's not a Chinese hunger or an Indian hunger or an American hunger. It's hunger. When we are sleepy, we all sleep the same sleep. We may sleep in different beds in different locations, but we experience the same thing. In so many ways, in our pain, in our losses, in our sorrows, we are same. So also in our joys and celebrations. So we are one in that way. And we must appreciate this oneness, sameness in this diverse, multicultural world. And that's when we can unite the world together and we can feel they're all ours. And when we feel they are ours, we won't think twice before helping them. And we won't calculate whether I should help and what will I get in return if I do this. And how much should I help and how much should I spend on it. These things won't occur to you because they are just yours. So you'll go all the way out and do whatever is required. So this is the idea, and I hope this message spreads to the whole world and we all think that we are all brothers and sisters or members of the same family and work for each other's welfare.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much again. Yeah.
Sadguru, and thank you.
Namaste. That's what we say.
Namaste.
Yes.